Look, man, one of the biggest struggles that you might be facing along this journey of semen retention is fighting with the fact that you think that this practice is a sacrifice. Yet if you really break things down like we're about to do with this video, you're gonna understand that you're actually gaining more back out of this practice than you might be thinking that you're giving up. Because at the end of the day, this is just a little bit of pleasure, a little bit of false sense of pleasure that you're giving up for the immense and infinite amount of power that you're gonna gain throughout this journey. So let's break this bitch down real quick like a brick for y'all. This whole concept of semen retention at the end of the day is about using your sexual energy to your advantage. It's not about how much semen you're hoarding up in your body. That's why I don't even like the word or like the practice or like the phrase semen retention. That's what you are doing, but it's much deeper than that. It's much deeper than biologically just refraining from ejaculation. It's much deeper than that. On a psychological level, you're repairing your mind, you're healing your mind from all the dopamine receptors that you fried out from watching porn, from watching all this type of content, from chasing women, from just making pleasure your ultimate pinnacle in life. On a spiritual level, you're actually awakening and turning on your senses, your sixth senses, your seventh senses, your eighth, ninth, 10th, whatever you want to call it, that allow you to gain more information about life that cannot be gained through your five physical senses. It can't be gained through touch, taste, smell, and all that stuff. Speaking, all that stuff. It can't be gained through that. There's something deeper that life, that the universe, that God communicates with you through those spiritual senses that you finally awaken through semen retention. So at the end of the day, remember, we don't really care about just hoarding our semen. We're not doing that for the only, we're not doing this practice only for that. We're doing it for a much deeper reason, and that is to pursue your higher goals in life, to actually tap into your divine purpose in life. And when you really think about it like that, how could these small, little, meaningless, temporary physical pleasures surmount your divine purpose? Ask yourself that. Even if you don't believe that you have a divine purpose yet, remember, key word in that yet, you cannot compare these two together. So when you're going about your semen retention journey and you're struggling and you're like, man, I'm missing out on this sexual pleasure, this sensual pleasure, and there's quote unquote nothing bad or evil about sexual pleasures, sensual pleasures. Some of these forms and outlets like porn, yes, are completely just don't situate yourself with that. That's literally some type of black magic going on that is literally siphoning your sexual energy and your life force energy. But also, if you're just masturbating with someone else's body through hookup culture and stuff like that, you're really just downplaying your potential in life, downplaying what you can actually access within this human experience. So that type of stuff, those temporary pleasures, those little spikes of dopamine within your life should not compare to the euphoric state of bliss you're going to be along this journey when you're actually pursuing a higher purpose in life. You're actually becoming a divine vessel for God, like I talk about in the Patreon community. Shout out to the private Patreon community. If you guys want access to exclusive content, full guides, in-depth occult lectures, and monthly masterminds where you hop on live calls with me and the members in the Philosopher's Circle, go check out all the links posted in the pinned comment of this video. There's also opportunities to work one-on-one with me through personalized coaching, book a one-on-one consultation call, got my weekly newsletter in there. All the links are posted in the pinned comment of this video. But what I was saying is, now you're becoming a divine vessel for God. Now you're becoming an instrument to work out a higher purpose, a higher goal in life. And when you are walking down that path, this little bit of pleasure, this little sliver of dopamine don't mean shit to you, bro. Don't mean shit. It can't equate to it. It can't even, your mind can't even fathom how much euphoric state of bliss you're gonna be in when you're on this journey. And you're gonna fight yourself, and you're gonna fight this idea, and maybe you're fighting it right now with the words I'm saying that are coming through your screen, and your mind, your old self, is kind of fighting against that. It's thinking that, no way, man, no way, bro. This stuff, it feels so good. This dopamine release feels so good. This prolactin release we get is so good. You can't compare. This guy don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm a human just like you, bro. I'm a human just like you. I'm a man just like you. And I'm telling you, I've been in both situations. And again, this practice ain't for everybody. And I'll be talking about that more later on, but this practice ain't for everybody. But if you clicked on this video, you've been tapped into my channel, you've been tapped into this type of content on the main channel and all that stuff, you can relate to what I'm saying. You've maybe been there and done that through the sexual experiences, and now you understand that, man, is this all life really has to offer? Is this the pinnacle of what it is for human experience? Because a lot of people in the modern world believe that. They won't say it to you, but their actions will correlate to that. The guys will go out and get a specific job they might not even like just to be able to get money, to be able to get this clothes, to be able to get this car, to be able to live in this area so they can bring a girl to their house and smash. And if those guys can't do that, guess what? They're going to go to online access to the point where they're just making love with their right hand, left hand. I don't know. You tell me what hand. Actually, don't tell me what hand. I don't want to know. But you picking up what I'm putting down. This becomes a pinnacle for most people. If they are satisfied and they are, first of all, if they're just surviving, because that's the base level of humanity, the base level of consciousness. If you're not able to survive, that's all your mind can think of. If I put you in a stranded island, you're not going to be thinking about having a divine purpose. You're going to just be worrying about survival. Once you get that down, and most of you guys do have that down because you're watching this video, because you got a phone, because you got a computer, because you got Wi-Fi, cellular data, all that stuff, then you're going to be thinking about the next layer, the second chakra, the second plane of consciousness, which is essentially reproduction. And society is going to push that all in your face. They're literally barricading you and limiting your potential, because once this energy rises, this sexual energy, and you might be feeling this in urges, you might be feeling this in temptations. It's just energy at the end of the day. Stop thinking urges are bad. Stop thinking this energy is bad. You want to use it to your advantage. But your mind, your plane of consciousness is capped out at the second layer. Imagine putting a lid on top of that sexual energy, and all it can do is go up to the second level, which is reproduction. That sexual energy is stuck into only being expressed through sexual release. Yet if you uncap the lid and you make that limited potential of you limitless, guess where it can go? All the way up into these euphoric states of bliss. This is why I'm telling you this right now. I've experienced both the sexual release and the euphoric states of bliss, and I'm still working on this. I'm still trying to get up to higher and higher levels. I'm just telling you right now, as a man, as a man-to-man convo, that is not comparable to what it means to be living out your divine purpose and being guided, having this intuition, awakening your spiritual senses, and overall being in a state of bliss and presence where you know that you're kind of being guided by God, the God within, the inner guide, the inner guru, towards your purpose in life. And it's giving you the energy, it's giving you the mental clarity, it's giving you all these different types of tools to go out and accomplish it. Because at the end of the day, semen retention is just a tool. It isn't the end goal. So don't think that you are just sacrificing by doing this practice. I know it's your old self speaking. I'm talking to your newer self. I'm talking to your higher self. And your higher self agrees with me, because this is the truth. Your higher self only resonates with truth. This type of practice should not be seen as a sacrifice. It's you're gaining all these types of advantages to your toolbox. It's becoming an asset to you. And now you're creating your dream life almost. You're creating the vision that you have up in here and out into the physical world. Whether that's through a business, whether that's through a YouTube channel, whether that's through your career path, whether that's through building up whatever it is that you have up in here. Some of the greatest innovators in the world, some of the greatest business people in the world, some of the greatest philosophers, all these people tap into the power of sexual energy. I'm not saying you have to do that to become successful, but why not use this extra energy to your advantage? Why not use your sexual energy as an ally rather than an enemy? You picking up what I'm putting down? The way your mind thinks that this is a sacrifice, that you are giving up on this, giving up on that, giving up on that. In reality, in totality, you are actually draining yourself more and more and more by doing those things. But it gives you a little bit of sense of relief at the end. That's what it is, a sense of relief. It isn't real pleasure. It isn't real purpose. Only your purpose can bring you real pleasure in life and real power to your being. It isn't this little bit of pleasure that you get. That's just relief. When you have these urges, and again, it gets capped off in that second layer, guess what? The only relief you think that you can do is through sexual release. Yet if you can use these types of, this same type of energy to your advantage, you can be putting it towards higher pursuits. You can be using it towards something that's going to give you even more pleasure in your life, even more purpose in your life, even more just euphoric state of bliss. It's that your state of consciousness is trapped in these lower worlds, and the material world is just further putting the lid on it. And the further you put the lid on it, the further you think that this is all there is. Good analogy is with the allegory of the cave. The allegory of the cave, where Plato says how all these people are in a cave basically, and they're chained up together, and they're projected all these different types of images through the fire behind them, and it's being projected on the rock of the cave. And they believe that's reality. That's just illusions. That's just what they've been fed. They've been programmed to believe and programmed to think that this is all reality is. When in actuality, when they go out into the real world, it's blinding. It's so much stimulus. It's so much overall purpose and overall power and enlightenment that they feel, that it seems like were living in a different world before. They were sleepwalking. They weren't actually tapping into what reality can offer them. And this is what you're doing on a sexual level when it comes to thinking that retention and all this stuff is giving up on all the fun in life. You can have your fun later on when you've built up your kingdom, when you actually have a wife that you want to build up a family with. That makes sense. But if you're doing it just to release and just have a bit of relief in your life, you are downplaying your potential. And you're downplaying your potential not only for yourself, but for the people around you. Because when you become the best version of yourself, guess what? You help elevate the consciousness of humanity as a whole. You're doing it for yourself, but as a byproduct, you're helping humanity as a whole. It's a win-win situation. But a lot of people can't wrap their mind around this. They can't understand how this concept really gets to the point where they're able to go past the old self. They're able to go past the barricades that life has given them, that society has pushed on them. It's all programming. They can't go beyond it. They can't break out of that system. They can't break out of that cycle. It's difficult, and right now you might be thinking that, and you might be kind of struggling back and forth with it, wrestling with this idea. But the more you let this type of information, whether it's through my channel, whether it's through other people's channel, penetrate your mind and marinate in your mind, the more you're going to be able to be more receptive and open to it. And the more receptive and open to it, guess what? The more that lid starts to break open, the more you start to take it off. Your consciousness starts to expand. You start to realize, hey man, is there actually more to life? Is this guy just talking shit, or is he giving me some real sauce? Is this the pinnacle of life? Is this the only thing that really fulfills me? Or is there something much deeper and much more fulfilling, much more euphoric, rather than a couple seconds of pleasure because all these chemicals are releasing out of your brain? Because that's all it is at the end of the day. Release is just that. A bunch of chemicals being dropped out of your brain, basically, being released in your brain. That's all it is. Why not be in that state full time? Why not be in that state of euphoric bliss full time? That's all from within. You can access it within. You don't need to do external things like just release to get to that point. You can get to that same point all day long, 24/7, 365 days a year, if you actually pursue your higher purpose in life. And nothing can equate to that. So if you're realizing all these things and understand these concepts, you're going to be able to look beyond. You're going to be able to look past. You're going to be able to look through the veil of ignorance. And that ignorance is that cap, like I'm telling you before, that this is all life has to offer. You're going to be searching for more and more and more and more. And when you start doing that, you're going to start to realize and ingrain this state of consciousness where you're not trapped into your lower worlds. You're not trapped into those lower states of consciousness. And when you start doing that, again, your spiritual senses start to awaken. You'll be able to look at things differently. You'll be able to perceive certain things differently. You're not going to be enthralled by these small little dopamine spikes. It's not going to even be enticing to you anymore. It's not going to be even pulling you like it was before. It's not going to have that grip on you. You've released that grip of your lower self. And you're getting pulled up and you're being directed by the higher self, by the inner guide, by the inner guru towards a higher purpose. And with that higher purpose comes higher rewards and higher states of bliss. It's something that I can put into words that you can maybe pick up what I'm putting down, but this is something you have to experience to fully understand. Fully understand, and more importantly, inner stand. I-N-N-E-R, stand. Come on, man. This is something you have to put your mind towards, and this is why just doing SR for SR ain't gonna make sense. It's the tool. SR is a tool to get you up to those higher states of consciousness and towards that goal. If you don't have that goal yet, it's okay. The goal is to find that goal, and SR will help you along that path. But once that big goal is found out, guess what? It's go time. You already have momentum with you. You already got the ball rolling. And now it just becomes more and more apparent what you need to do. It becomes more and more apparent what's the steps you need to take. It becomes more and more apparent where your life is headed towards. So let that sink in. Let that marinate in your mind, that this is not a sacrifice. This is not something that you're giving up. You're actually getting everything back that you've been missing out on this entire time. But your level of consciousness is so low that you don't understand that you have all these capabilities. You don't understand that you can tap into all these things. You've never experienced it before. So everything's brand new. How can you tell someone to go somewhere they've never been before? This is what you're doing on SR. This is what you're doing along this journey. You're going to somewhere that you've never been before. And when you go to somewhere where you've never been before, guess what? You might not believe it even exists. You know, I believe it's not even there. Christopher Columbus, he didn't know where he's going. Guess what? He found America, the biggest continent outside of what he saw before. You are doing that. You are crossing the road into the next step, into the next layer of your existence, next state of evolution. Most people are stuck in the animalistic side of evolution. You are tapping into the next and next and next, not only your own personal individual evolution, but your spiritual evolution, your soul's evolution. And that truly is something that you cannot put into words until you actually get on this path. And that's why people think that, oh, SR is just to quit masturbation, porn, all this stuff. It's far beyond that. That's just step one. Now you finally get the energy. Where are you going to put it towards? Towards your evolution. And it's going to do it for you, and you're going to be working with it. You're not going to be de-evolving anymore. You're going to be evolving. And it's going to be regenerating your spiritual senses, not degenerating them. Every time you're depleting yourself and being a degenerate, how do you think the word is degenerate? You're degenerating yourself, your life force energy, and all those spiritual senses that come along with it. The more you start to retain, you start to regenerate. Reuse all those physical minerals alchemize them into spiritual materials. From lead to gold, base metals to gold. That's what we're doing on this practice, man. It's truly much more powerful than you think. So don't think it's a sacrifice. Think that this is a stepping stone to your highest self. It's a tool, remember, at the end of the day. It ain't the goal. Once you get to SR, it doesn't mean that you've built up to that point where you are the highest self. You are working up to it, and it's just elevating you to it. It's pushing you up to it. It's guiding you to it. It's giving you the energy. It's giving you the mental clarity to get to that point. All this other small stuff, it ain't gonna compare, bro. It ain't gonna compare. So don't think that you are giving up on anything. Don't you think that you are missing out on anything, because a lot of people will go through FOMO when they get on semen retention. I did too. That's why I made it all this type of information in the Art of Retention ebook. If you haven't got that yet, make sure you go run it up after this. Go check it out on the main channel. Just look up Fulati Fitness, how to succeed on semen retention, and then you can get the ebook fully for free. Tap into all that information. There's a full guide also on the main channel, audio series of the ebook. You got all the information you need, man. All the information. If you want to take it up another level, private Patreon community, personal coaching, and one-on-one consultations, let me know, bro. I'm here to help you by giving out the guidance I wish I had to elevate you mentally, physically, and spiritually on this journey, on this path, using it as a tool rather than the end goal. So there it is, man. I'm out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping out that game so you guys can make these gains, and I'm out here. Peace.